This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 236 of the Stable Scoop Radio Show. Pecans and poetry. Please support our sponsors as they make this show possible.
Our sponsors this week are Amazon.com and thebarnworks.com.
Welcome to the Stable Scoop, with weekly shows delivered right to you. With Helena and Glenn the Geek, live from the stable, it's every week. They bring you the news through hail or high water, while using their tails as their own fly swatters. So sit on down and laugh till you poop, cause it's time again for Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop. The Stable Scoop. Stable Scoop.
This is Glenn the Geek.
And this is Helena B. And you're listening to the Stable Scoop Radio Show on the Horse Radio Network.
Well, howdy, Helena.
Howdy, Glenn. How are you today?
I can't talk, I guess. I'm here.
And that's different from yesterday?
Yeah. Well, we're doing this show earlier in the morning now. We're recording it earlier, see? And I just got to get my voice working.
Oh, well, you don't drink coffee, do you?
No, I'm a tea drinker.
What kind of tea do you like?
Iced tea. I'm an iced tea drinker.
Well, you're in Florida now, so yeah.
Yeah, see, and southern sweet tea, and the sugar gets me going. But my wife got me an iced tea maker for Christmas, so I've been using that nonstop. I love that thing.
What is that like? How does that work?
It just, you put the tea bags in the top and put the water in it. It's like a coffee pot. It runs the hot water over the tea bags. It like brews it for you. And then you put the sugar. The key to Southern iced tea and making it taste like Southern iced tea is to put the sugar in while the tea is hot.
Oh, right.
You can't wait till it's cold, because then it doesn't melt right and it doesn't taste the same. So you have to put it in right when it's done and the tea is hot. You put the sugar in.
Okay.
And then it tastes like, you know who is really good tea is McDonald's. Their sweet tea is really good.
You know what? It is. I hate to say it, but it is.
And it's only $1 for like a gallon. So
$1 a gallon. You can run your car on that stuff.
That's right. Yeah, really. It'd be a lot cheaper. But no, their sweet tea is really good. Anytime I go by McDonald's, I'm like, oh, don't do it. Don't do it. Well, anyway, they didn't come to talk about sweet tea today. We got some things in store for everybody today. We have Kat back from Eat Your Tart Out. She's going to be talking about a snack. That's our monthly segment about food, and she's going to be talking about a snack you can make to take along to shows or to events. Also, we're going to be talking a little cowboy poetry, something a little different here for the show today. We have Jessica Hedges on with us, and she was actually recommended by one of our listeners who said, you got to get a hold of this girl. She's fascinating, and you got to talk to her, so we're going to be talking to her. Plus, we have a Tack and Habit segment from Ada that we recorded while we were there on some terrific products. So we'll be doing all of that as the show goes along today. But first, I wanted to mention right up front that you have a new website up.
I do have a new website up. It's called Chasing a Fox, and it can be found at chasingafox.com. And we talked about this a little bit in last week's episode. And it's basically a style guide for equestrians, primarily fox hunters, because I think of all the horse folks out there, we probably have the least amount of time. Although I don't know, that's arguable. But so it's a little service. We offer style consulting. We have some style experts in our little camp here. And if you need to know what to wear, either when you're out hunting or if you are at the ball or you have a cocktail party, you can go to chasingafox.com and we're on Facebook as well. So you can get some ideas on what to wear.
I like the section called Get Styled Online. I need some of that style. Jennifer would argue I don't have any. Is this for guys too?
This is for guys too. Yes, we're working on. We have this really comprehensive Pinterest board, and it's got a lot of clothing and ideas for the home, for hunt ball, for teas, for cocktail parties, for men, for women, for actually out hunting. And so we're building up our men's Pinterest board. And from there, we will start posting some style ideas. But the cool thing about getting styled online is you can send us a picture of yourself, totally anonymous. You can chop your head off, or we'll chop your head off. Send us a photo and tell us what you're looking for, what you need to do, like if you have a cocktail party in May or something. And we'll actually come back with a little graphic vignette of outfit ideas along with links to each item in the vignette where you can buy it online, including shoes and accessories.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah, right now it's free. It will eventually be a paid service, like, I don't know, $4.99 or something. But as we're getting the business up and running, the style advice online is free. So send us your photographs. Chasingafox.com.
Cool. Very good. And it's cute. I like the little graphic you did of the little girl. That's very cute. Very cute. Well, and of course, you know, we're still in hunting season down here. You guys you're out of hunting season now, right? Because you're in the middle of like 3 feet of snow.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Well, yeah, I know I follow the Palm Beach Hounds on Facebook, and I know that their hunt ball is coming up soon.
Yep.
So they've been hunting regularly, and looks like things are going really well down there.
Yep, it's been beautiful weather actually for hunting down here.
What's the hunt that Jennifer went out with? That she and Wendy went out with?
It's near Tampa, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head.
We'll find it.
Yeah, it's near Tampa. It's I can't remember it.
It's okay.
But they had a good time. And then there's one in Gainesville right above us as well that Jennifer wants to go out with, and she's going to hopefully be doing that in the next couple of weeks.
Super.
So she's working on that as well. So she's enjoying being down here and riding every day. Is your snow melting?
It's melting today. We got another like 6 inches on Sunday.
Oh, great. Just to freshen it up because it was
just
looking dirty.
Just because like I had to shovel yet another path to the manure pile because the first one didn't work my upper body enough. So, but today it's supposed to be about 50 degrees up here. So I think we'll get a lot of melting, and I'm crossing my fingers that will be the last big snow of the year.
Well, do you remember last year? It was about this time, actually. Last year, about this time, we went and recorded a show at Arabian Nights in Orlando, Florida, at the Arabian Nights show down there, and they invited us to come back. So last night, we met Wendy and her boyfriend, Wendy from the driving radio show, and her boyfriend, and Jennifer and I, and we went and saw the show last night. And they were very generous. They brought us backstage, and we got to meet all the horses and got to see the show. And then they're coming on the Horses in the Morning show on Friday morning to chat about it, the trainer of all the horses, who we've had as a guest here. Her name's Heidi Harriet, and she's been a guest here on Stable Scoop as well.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she's a trick trainer and an old circus, family and that kind of thing. And she's now the head trainer at Arabian Nights, and she wanted us to see all the horses and meet everybody. And it was a good show. We hadn't seen that show in about probably 10, 15 years. And it was a good show. They've changed it up. The food used to be at Arabian Nights used to be kind of crappy. You used to leave there, and the joke was you wanted to go to dinner. But they've changed that totally now, and instead of everybody just getting the same thing and you eat it whether you like it or not, they have 6 different entree choices, and the food was good. I had the pulled pork and mashed potatoes, and Jennifer had the chicken, and there was beef, and all of us liked the food, and the dessert was good. They had cake for dessert, and we went away not wanting to eat, so that was good.
That's good. I mean, it's hard to mess up food these days with so many, cooking is like a big deal. I mean, look, just think about like Eat Your Tart Out. It's hard to mess up food these days with so many cooking resources around. So, and people who want to be chefs, like being a chef is like a totally hip, cool career now. So it would make sense that Arabian Nights would have some great food.
And they're serving, I get it. They're serving 1,000 people very quickly, so... and you stand, it's bleacher style at Arabian Nights. So you're sitting at these tables, bleacher style, so you can see the arena. And the show goes on while you're eating.
I love that. That's like dinner theater.
It is. It is dinner theater is what it is.
I mean, it's not exactly like, Lucille Ball type of dinner theater, which could be fun too.
You don't dress up for this. And it's, it's
Wait a minute. Cowboy boots and a flannel shirt? That's dressing
pretty
up.
much it. That's pretty much it. And we're going to post some pictures that we took from there with the trainer and in the barns and stuff. So we'll be posting that on our Facebook page at Horses in the Morning here before long. But I wanted to tell you that we did get to see it. It was a lot of fun. They've mixed up the show a little bit, and there's some new acts, some things I hadn't seen before. And I've been to a lot of different kind of horse shows. But there was some acts that they did that I had not seen before, and Jennifer hadn't seen before. So we had a good time with it. There's like 20 to 25 different horses they use and do different kinds of things with the Arabians. It's not all Arabians. They had quarter horses. They had a standard bred there. They had a goat. They had a bunch of draft horses that they use for the vaulting stuff. But it was good. It was a lot of fun. I recommend if you get to Orlando, check out Arabian Nights. It's a good evening of horsey fun.
Good. Arabian Nights.
Yep.
We'll get there.
Yep. So that was good. Well, you were talking about Kat and Eat Your Tart Out. Why don't we head over to her and find out what her recipe of the month is? Well, hi, Kat, and welcome back to the Stable Scoop Show.
Well, hey there. Thanks for having me back.
Well, now you have a recipe for us from your blog, Eat Your Tart Out. You have a recipe for us that would be good for traveling show food.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, again, when I was kind of coming up with this month's recipe, I was trying to think of something that, a lot of people right now are down in the South trying to get prepared. They're either showing or they're just getting training in. And, soon we're going to start thinking about spring and getting our first shows underway. So I was like, well, what kind of easy on-the-go snack would be good? And I was thinking of nuts, spiced nuts. Everybody's had them before. They usually buy them in the store, things like that. But to make them at home, it's next to nothing. It's super easy. So I decided that we were going to do spiced pecans, and it's just a great recipe. It's not overly sweet, but it kind of combines all the taste. It's got a little spice to it. It's got a little savoriness to it. It's a little buttery, and all of it combined is just really yummy. And everybody seems to enjoy them because it's not too much in one direction. So, it's good for everybody.
I think pecans are one of my favorite nuts, too. And I'm a nutty guy, as my wife would tell you. But, no, I do like pecans. I think they're really good. And, of course, we've all had the cinnamon sugary pecans that you get at the fair, that they make at the fair. But this one appears to be a little bit different, has a little bit more kick to it.
Yes, yeah. And so basically what we're doing is we're combining pecans with butter. And then what you're doing is you're getting a spice mixture together. And essentially what you're doing is you're taking a saucepan, you're going to put it over the stove, melt your butter in it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take cumin, and if it isn't ground up already, you're going to kind of grind it up, throw it in there with some chili powder, and if you like really spicy, you can throw some red pepper flakes in there. And what it does is when it cooks in the butter, it kind of opens it up, and you get that really great scent, and it's almost like a potpourri over the stove for just a little while, just to open it up and get the flavors really melding. And then you throw that over the pecans, you put a little salt and a little sugar on there, and you bake them. It's as simple as that.
Now, how long do you bake them for?
You bake them for about 20 minutes at 325 degrees.
And that's what makes them all toasty tasting.
Exactly, and it doesn't get them all greasy. They're kind of coated on there nice, and they really make an easy snack. So regardless if you're in the cold or the warmer climates, it's just a good, addictive snack to have on hand.
Now, see, my wife would take them and put them with M&Ms and pretzels. And
you can make them as a trail mix, too. I mean, one of the things that I recommended in this blog post was that you could also combine them, like you could crunch them up, you can put them on salads. If you wanted to, you could grind them up and put them as a coating for like chicken or a white fish, different things like that. So it's kind of wherever your mind takes you, but this is just a good base to kind of have for those different types of things.
Well, terrific. Sounds good. Now, we'll put a link in our show notes to the recipe, but you can also find it at eatyourtartout.com, and that's TARTE, eatyourtartout.com. And, of course, you can find all your other good stuff there as well, right?
Absolutely.
I noticed there were pizza rolls, and you had some posts there from England and spiced chocolate cake. I mean, all kinds of good stuff.
Oh, yeah, and I'm always mixing it up, and I will kind of reiterate just to your listeners, but if you guys are ever looking for a recipe on something, or if you kind of stumped on, why are my mashed potatoes turning out gluey or something like that, if you have any questions, please just email me or email Glenn, and he'll get in touch with me, and we'll try and get to the bottom of it and help you guys out.
Very good. So that's Kat from Eat Your Tart Out, and that is the spiced pecans. Thank you, Kat. We'll talk to you again next month. Well, thanks to Kat for joining us here every month. I know she's busy with everything she has going on, but we appreciate her stopping by to talk a little food. Well, I wanted to remind everybody, Helena, that on Wednesday mornings on Horses in the Morning, we're doing something new called the Wheel of Trivia. It was a big hit. Our first week was last week, and what it is you call in, you give us a call at our call-in number at Horses in the Morning at 9 o'clock. On a.m. Eastern Time for our live show, and we do what we call a Wheel of Trivia. We have this big like casino wheel here, and on it's full of prizes that companies have donated, and you get asked a trivia question. One trivia question, you get it right, we spin the wheel, and you win something. It's that simple. Now, there are some bummer prizes on there, too. There are some, we have to have those. Like last week, one lady won a 6-pack of used hoof picks. But we
used?
Yes, used tooth
okay.
picks.
Okay, I'm just going to let you keep going.
But we let her try again, and she actually did win something good. So we have all kinds of prizes on there, and it's just a lot of fun. We had over 20 callers. We got about 5 of them in. But we had over 20 callers, so get your calls in early and check it out over at Horses in the Morning. Best place to go is our Facebook page at Horses in the Morning to see all the details and the phone-in number. But it's something we're going to be doing every Wednesday morning now. It's called the Wheel of Trivia.
Okay, I like it. And of course, I'm not allowed to play, but whatever.
You can play. We'll make sure we give you the really hard question.
Oh, thanks a lot. Well, I did really well when we had our trivia game, remember? Yeah.
You did.
I did well.
You did really well when we had the challenge. But the other thing we got to get to here very shortly, and I have a couple of people in mind for my side of the thing, is it's time to do the Horse Husbands and the Horse Wives episodes again.
Yay!
We usually do that in about March, right? So, So we need to get to doing that. I have a couple ideas for my guys this year that I want to get on, some new guys. One of them that's a boyfriend still. So, and one that was on last year I want to have back because he went from boyfriend to husband in the meantime. So now we can find out if it's any different now that he's the husband.
Okay.
So we're going to try and bring him back too. So I got some ideas. So you got to be thinking about what wives you want to have on this year.
Well, I kind of want to have Jamie on again now that she's pregnant.
Oh, yeah, that would be different. And now that she's been married for longer than, she's coming out of honeymoon phase. You
do become a slightly different person when you're pregnant. Not bad. You just become slightly different. So I'm wondering if she's a slightly different wife.
She actually, we're talking about Jamie Jennings, of course, the host of Horses in the Morning, for those that don't know. And she is pregnant. She's 6 months pregnant. And I've been surprised thank God. I was thinking, because we do our show at her time, she has to get up at 6 in the morning. And we start at 7 her time. So I was thinking, if she gets morning sickness, we're done. I got to find a new host. But she hasn't. She's been perfectly healthy. She's still riding.
Yeah. Well, I rode up until I think like 6 months.
Oh, did you?
5 or 6 months. Yeah. The only reason I stopped riding was because the ligaments in my hips, and your pelvis, they stretched too much, so I couldn't sit upright anymore. And that's what happens as your pregnancy goes along, your ligaments start to get soft and stretch in preparation for childbirth. And so it does become difficult for some women to stay totally upright and firm in the saddle just because they're turning all loosey-goosey.
Well, I know that her husband's starting to get a little nervous about it at this point. So, it'd be interesting to hear how long our listeners have gone. We'll have to post that question on Facebook.
Yeah, that is a good question. I mean, there are obviously the risks. You have to completely understand all the risks that you're taking. But there are those that you can take and you can mitigate them. So,
but listen to your doctor. Don't listen to us. We don't know anything.
Well, yeah, listen to your doctor. If I listened to mine, I wouldn't have ridden at all.
Her too. Hers said no riding, so she.
But then,
violating
no
doctor's
riding.
orders.
But then, when I was in the delivery room and the anesthesiologist who came in to give me the epidural, she was a Morgan person, and she was like, "Bah! They told you not to ride. Screw that." She's like, "I rode all the way into my 7th month, 8th month."
Well, Jessica Phoenix, the Olympian eventer out of Canada, she was on a horse. Now, this is crazy. She was on a horse till the week before.
Wow.
Yeah, and then was riding 2 weeks after. Competing.
Wait,
2
whoa,
weeks
okay.
after.
That's a bigger wow. That's
2
a
weeks
really
after
big wow.
she competed in a show.
Well, you know what? I mean, all of her riding muscles were in probably their peak shape, so she probably didn't lose much of her riding fitness through
Yeah,
childbirth.
because she was riding all the way through.
But still, man, 2 weeks after.
Yeah, I know. She's crazy.
I was
told you, that's
crying at
crazy.
my tea 2 weeks after.
That is crazy. Well, let's take a break for a commercial, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little cowboy poetry with Jessica Hedges. Now, we got an email thanks to Karen Hassel, who sent us an email, and she said that she saw a story in the Oregonian paper. I don't know how to say that. I guess that's how you say it. About a 24-year-old young wife and mom who lives on a, get this, are you ready? A 20,000-acre ranch.
Where?
In Burns, Oregon.
Okay.
It's a very sparsely populated area, I guess so. And she's a cowboy poet, and apparently she just got married, and she's just doing the family thing. We had Jeff Dawson on one of our shows, and he was also a cowboy poet, really, really cool guy. But we wanted to have her on because she also just got back from the 29th Annual National Cowboy Poetry Gathering. Yes, they do have a national poetry competition in Elko, Nevada. So we're going to talk. We have a lot to talk to her about. First and foremost, 20,000-acre ranch. That's hard for us to imagine here in the East. It's just incomprehensible. But let's talk to her and find out more about that.
The Barnworks is a small marketing firm which caters to equestrians. Whether you ride professionally, own or manage a boarding facility, sell horses, teach, train, show, or even sell retail goods, our business can help your business blossom. We offer services of all kinds, but what we do offer is focused on marketing your business in an efficient and effective way. Regardless of what creative marketing services you need, the Barnworks offers something that most other marketers don't: free consulting. That means if you don't know what you need or what will work best with your budget, we will sit down with you and figure it out together. No charge. Nada, zip, zero. And with over 20 years in corporate marketing experience, we have an idea about what works, and because we're fully immersed in the horse world, we know what works and what does not work in this crazy, wonderful industry of ours. Go to our website at www.thebarnworks.com. You can see samples of our work and find out how to get in touch, or just send an email to email@thebarnworks.com.
Well, hi, Jessica, and welcome to the Stable Scoop Show. Thank you so much for getting up to talk to us this morning.
Oh, good morning. Thank you so much for having me. No, I've been up for hours, so this was great timing.
Well, tell us a little bit about Jessica growing up. Were you always a horse girl? Did you grow up with horses?
Well, we grew up on ranches, so yeah, they've always been around to some extent.
And so was your dad a rancher?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, my dad cowboyed and ranched. Gosh, since he got out of school for the most part. So.
Have you always been in the Northwest?
Yes.
Up in
Yeah.
Oregon
Well, I was born in California, which I don't really tell too many people that. I consider myself from Nevada. That's where I spent most of the time growing up. My husband and I, after we were married, we did a short stint in Washington, and now we've been in Oregon for probably 2.5 years.
And now you live, according to this, you live on a 20,000-acre ranch. That's something that we can't even fathom here.
And, this isn't even the biggest place I've lived on. The ranch I grew up on was actually 450,000 acres.
What?
Yes, sir.
That's
was in
the
Nevada.
size of the Rhode Island, Helena. Helena lives in Rhode Island. That's the size of her whole state.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of country out here, and that's one of the things I like about it.
How do you even ranch? I mean, it's a matter of the herds go out and they graze, and then they just bring them back. Is it like the Old West movies that way?
No, not entirely. I mean, I think in some aspects you're doing a lot more monitoring. It's a lot more proactive. For example, they actually cab heifers out as opposed to just everything kind of doing its own thing. You pull your bulls out and stuff. And in the old days, that stuff they just kind of threw them out there. They didn't necessarily, keep as much track of things as they do now. There's other aspects, though, that it is still very much that way. I know when we were in camp, all of our cows wintered themselves, which meant that we didn't feed them. They were in a place where there would be enough food, and we didn't have heifers out there. They were basically, they had to be on their second calf or older to be out there, and they calved themselves out. So it just kind of depends on the place itself, but I would say that things are a little bit more mic'd in, and there's specific reasoning for why people do things.
So with all that space, with all that open space and lots to observe, what do you find is the most inspiring as you go about your day?
Gosh, just the freedom. I mean, there's so much room, and just being, having that opportunity to be outside, I think as a society, we've gotten so used to the cell phones ringing and constantly having somebody there in our personal space that it causes so much stress and we don't even realize it. I know when we lived in camp, we had no cell phone service whatsoever. No TV, no internet. We were 4 hours from town. And we absolutely loved it. And you don't even realize, I guess how great it is not knowing that your cell phone's not going to ring, any time because there's just no service there. So I think just being outside and depending upon yourself and kind of just really focusing on the things that matter most and being in the moment was probably the best thing about it.
So it is. What it comes down to is opportunity to be inspired.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's opportunity because we don't have, back east, we don't have as much opportunity because we don't have as much space. There isn't as much time to quiet your mind and reflect and digest the world around you because it's so fast paced. So
yeah, and you're not operating on a schedule. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's dang sure work to do.
Yeah.
But if if you're training and you really need that extra 30 minutes for some reason, take it. You do what you need to do, and you can be focused on what you're working on in the moment because you don't have somebody saying, okay, in 5 minutes, you got to be doing this.
Now, when did you start getting into poetry? When did that happen?
Well, gosh, we grew up with it around. My dad and my mom, they would play cowboy poetry and cowboy music. And not only that, they would stop it and back when we were still listening to tapes and say, okay, so what did you think of this? What did this mean to you? And so we'd talk about that. And then as we when I was about 10, we moved to Nevada, and we were an hour from the National Cowboy Poetry Gathering there in Elko. So we started going up and going to the open mics and stuff. And I think I was probably about 12 when I said, I live on a ranch. I got stories. I can do that. And so I started writing. And then when I was in probably high school, college, I got to a point there for a while where I was too cool for that. I really didn't do anything with it. And then we were in Washington, and my husband had a little bit of a horse wreck, and it kind of got me writing again, and I decided I wanted to pursue it a little more seriously, and it's kind of been a crazy, wonderful ride ever since.
Well, and you've been, you've received some awards along the way too. And are there many female cowboy poets?
No, it's kind of there's not a lot. I mean, you're getting more all the time, and you're getting more on the music side, but specifically in the poetry, not so much. Especially not in their 20s.
Right. Yeah, because you're pretty young for not only are you female, you are pretty young for a poet as well.
Yeah, I just turned 25 on Sunday, so.
Well, happy birthday.
Oh, thank you.
That's young in some ways, but old enough. And too, when your lifestyle matures you. And I'm sorry, I just happened to look out the window of my office and noticed a pony who's someplace she shouldn't be.
Uh-oh. Is it one of yours?
Yeah, the pony, she's mine now. If she goes galloping down the road in 5 minutes, I think she might belong to somebody else at that point.
Do you need to go deal with the pony?
No, that's all right. She can't go anywhere, really.
Okay.
She can't go anywhere. Naughty
There's
thing.
a poem in there.
I was going to say is that our lifestyles mature us in different ways. And when you're out there living and working something that's as genuine as ranching, then, 25, you've got a lot of experience. You got a lot of life experience at 25 that maybe a 25 or 30-year-old wouldn't have who lives someplace else.
It really has been a blessing, to grow up this way and to live this kind of lifestyle. I know probably 2 years ago, I was interviewing with a gal out of Virginia, and I was talking to her because at that time we lived in cow camp. When I was about 6 months pregnant, they moved us out. So we're on a ranch, but we're only 15 miles from town, and so it's not quite as remote now. But when we lived in camp, I rode with my husband almost every day, and so she had no idea she couldn't fathom the idea that I would literally have my own circle. My husband, I would start out together in the morning, and he'd say, you go this way, and I'll go that way, and we'd meet up with cows. But that could be 6-8 hours later, and that's if everything went right. So, yeah, she just couldn't even fathom, well, what if you get in a wreck? What if this happens? What if that happens? Well, you deal with it as it comes along.
Now, are they still ranching with horses at all?
Oh, yes. Definitely. Out here in the Great Basin, a lot of the traditions go back to the old vaquero styles. And, don't get me wrong, you've got people with four-wheelers, or maybe they're going to use their four-wheelers for hay or to go check fence. But there's a lot of people out here who are very, very, still very much enriched in the tradition of using horses to work cows, and they're still going to drag calves to the fire when they're branding. And, some of these guys are still even roping with riatas. So...
And how has being a new mom changed things for you?
It slowed me up a little bit. It kind of made me focus on my house and my baby a little more, which is wonderful. Court is 9 months old now, and it's been a real honor to be able to bring the next generation, I guess, into ranching, into cowboy poetry, into horsemanship. He was on a horse at 12 days when we had a branding out here. With my husband. And so it's really nice to be able to include him, in all these things. It's a little slow right now, but obviously as he gets older and is more mobile and can take in more, he'll be able to go out and ride and be with Dad, as a lot of this is going on. I know my husband, he was out riding by himself at 2, so with the right horse, I wouldn't see him doing much different.
Now, can you tell us how your son came about his name, which is a little unusual?
Yeah,
super cute though.
Basically, my husband is one of 3 boys, and then his brothers have boys, and so then you add in a couple of friends, and we were having a hard time picking names, especially where I was Jessica right there in those couple of years where everybody was naming their girls Jessica. I wanted something a little bit different. Anyways, so. The old John Wayne movie, The Angel and the Badman, the main character in that is Quirt. And then also, too, like a rawhide quirt. It's similar to a riding crop, but it's something that we use as a daily tool. So
that's where I kind of figured you got it from. I figured that was probably it.
I love it. And I'm not really hip on sort of non-traditional names, but it actually feels very traditional. It feels very genuine. I love it. And I bet he's super cute.
Yeah, well, and that was one of John Wayne's earlier movies. He was in his early 20s, I believe, at the time. So, it's been around there for a while. It's just I've heard it once or twice, but there's not a whole lot of people that had it. So it's worked out really great.
Okay.
Well, now tell us, you have a new CD that has come out. This is your second CD called Buckaroo Woman Unconfined, and it was released in January of 2013, so that's now available. How did you do at the National Championships?
It's not really a championship. The gathering is really an opportunity to come together and just share.
Okay.
Because really, cowboy poetry started with guys sitting around the bunkhouse. Before we had phone, before we had TV, before we had internet, any of these things. And so, as Waddy Mitchell would say, people did the strangest things at night. They talked to each other. And what happened is these stories, they took on a rhyme and they took on a meter. And that's easier to remember, and it made them a lot more interesting. And because cowboying was so migratory, then these guys they'd get done branding at one place, and part of the crew would go this way and part would go that way. And so they'd carry these stories to different ranches. And because the stories had a rhyme and meter, people could continue to share those on and keep each other entertained at night. And so the gathering is just kind of a way to remember that and come in, and obviously it's for the public. It is a performance, but it's a way to come together and share those stories and experiences the way that they used to.
I think, Helena, would you love to hear one? I want to hear one.
Please, I'm like
Will
dying.
you do that for us?
Yeah, I think we can handle that. Why don't I do The Ride? This is a piece off of my new CD.
All right, terrific.
The lack of patience is the product of my youth, but in its spontaneity, I found my truth. But this gypsy way has served both my heart and my soul, and from these experiences, I found my life's role. We're blessed and cursed with things that shape who we are, events that cause our personalities to scar. Like nearing home at the end of a long, hard day, knowing the work I've done has more than earned my pay. Praying for daylight at 3 a.m. while bailing, so you can work another day without failing. Taking a colt somewhere you know he shouldn't go. Crossing your fingers, trying to stay with the flow. These little challenges, though, give our lives meaning, giving our minds and fears their required weaning. For if we never push the expanses we are, then how can we expect to reach our goals afar? So when life is hard, go back to your foundation and find no shame in your childhood quotations. The lessons instilled in us so many years before were designed to help us build ourselves into more. So I look back now on my mistakes and scars with pride, knowing it's not the destination, but the ride.
Very good.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
That is very good.
It was very relaxing, too, to hear you read that. It was like really getting all zen and relaxed.
Yeah, you have a great voice for it. You really do.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you have a great voice for it. That's terrific. Well, how can people find your CD and how can they get a hold of it?
They can just go to my website, Jessica Hedges, cowboypoetry.com. They can also check me out on Facebook or Twitter. Basically, just track me down, and I can get you set up. Whatever's easiest for you. But probably the website's going to be the fastest.
And now, a lot of the other, like Jeff Dawson and a lot of the others that are into cowboy poetry, also sing. Do you sing at all?
I don't. Well, I do personally, but I just try and keep that to the shower. Yeah, it's a little scary. I found even as I had my son and I was trying to sing to put him to bed that it really didn't work out well. He'd just cry harder. So I just try to stick with the poetry.
Not for everybody, right?
Oh. No. I mean, I love to sing. If you've got the voice for it, great. But yeah, I don't. So that's why I kind of stick with the poetry end of it.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of singing here on the show either. So it's like...
No, thank God.
Well,
I understand the sentiment.
This has been terrific. We really appreciate you being on. The website is Jessica Hedges, cowboypoetry.com. And that's where you can find all of her information. We'll post a link to it on our website and on our Facebook page as well. Thank you so much, Jessica. We appreciate you joining us today. And good luck with Quirt and the little guy there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys having me on. This has been an honor.
Hi all, Glenn the Geek here, and we're excited to bring you a special offer for Horse Radio Network listeners from one of my favorite companies, and that is Audible.com. Audible.com is the premier provider of digital audiobooks. Audible has over 85,000 titles to choose from in every genre: thrillers, business, romance, comedy, sci-fi, sports, and so much more. Audible titles play on your iPhone, your Kindle, your Android, or more than 500 different devices that you can listen anytime, anywhere. My wife and I love Audible books. We've been a member of Audible since 2004 and have listened to over 100 books with Audible. What horse person, who has time as a horse person to sit down and to read a book anymore? Yet I found the time to listen to books on Audible. When I'm not listening to podcasts while I'm riding, cleaning stalls, or at the gym or driving, I'm listening to Audible books. And for the listeners of the Horse Radio Network, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 14-day trial to give you a chance to check out their service. All you have to do is go to audibletrial.com/HRN. That's audibletrial.com/HRN for Horse Radio Network. And you can download your free audiobook and get your 14-day free trial today. If you can't remember that, just check out our website and you'll find a link to it right there. Enjoy your book. We know you will. Well, Helena, have you ever heard of Shapley's grooming products?
Yes, I have.
Have you used them?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. And I think that most people have heard of them in the past, and some of us may have used them occasionally, but they have a whole line of new stuff out this year. And we had a chance to catch up with the Shapley's rep out at ADA, at the American Equestrian Trade Association, when Jennifer and I were there a couple of weeks ago, and we did a little interview with them. So we thought we'd make that the Tack and Habit segment for this week, and that's Shapley's grooming products. Well, I have with me here at the ADA Trade Show in Philadelphia, I have Sally Stith-Burdett. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Director of Marketing for Shapley's, which we kept wanting to call Shapley's yesterday, and I think that's a completely different thing.
Definitely different. Yes.
You're not into weight loss at all.
No. Horse grooming products.
Yes. Now, a lot of people have heard of Shapley's and know some of your products, but we have 3 products here that we're going to talk about today that they may not have heard of before.
Right.
Is that correct?
Okay.
Well, tell us a little bit about the company. It's been around for a long time.
It's been around since 1938.
Just a
so we're
youngster.
celebrating our 75th year.
It's older than I
year.
am. That's a switch.
That's always refreshing, right?
Yes. So, has it always been in the care product business?
What it started out as, a barber named Mr. Shapley started it with his original MTG, and to cure psoriasis on people.
Okay.
And to help his customers. Well, back then everyone had horses, so did Mr. Shapley, and he started using it on the skin conditions or skin problems suffered by his horses, and it just really took off from there.
And back then, barbers were doing a lot more than cutting hair, too. They were involved in medical side, dentists, and everything else.
Exactly. That's where the psoriasis and eczema and all that it cured.
Right. Well, tell us about the products you have for us here today from Shapley's.
Well, Shapley's is really excited in our 75th year to actually make almost, we want to call it a slight improvement on our original MTG. That is the product everyone knows us by, and everyone who's ever used it knows it works beautifully, works perfectly, but they say the same thing, it smells. So this year we've come out with our new original MTG Plus. What we've done is the same exact formula, but we've added a light herbal scent. And the smell is much more refreshing than the original MTG. We will always have the original MTG for the people who don't mind.
By the way, that stands for mane, tail, and groom.
Yes, stands for mane, tail, and groom. And for the people who don't mind, as they call it, the bacon smell, they can use the original MTG.
Some people like bacon.
Some people like it.
It's not on your horse's mane, maybe.
Well, but some of the ladies out there, they didn't want that smell on their hands. So that's why we developed this product, and we're introducing it here, and we have gotten a great response.
And it's called the MTG Plus, Original Plus.
Exactly, and the Plus is the added herbal scent.
And, of course, MTG is good for a lot of different things, too. You got fungus and rain rot and itch, girth itch, and scratches. Where do you find, we all know what products are intended for.
Right.
What do you find people like it for?
Well, for one thing, it does, within a day, start curing and, hair regrowth in 3 days, any kind of rain rot or scratches. But another side effect of that is it grows hair. If you put it in the horse's tailbone or along their mane, it actually will grow up to 3 inches a month, and that has been documented.
Wow.
So
you need that.
thicker.
We have a horse with no forelock at all. I mean, the poor guy, it's just...
Well, then
sad.
definitely give that a try.
Yeah, he definitely has male powdered baldness. Yeah, definitely. Poor guy.
Well, then he definitely needs to use it.
We need to try that.
Yeah.
For sure.
People actually buy it and use it on themselves.
You know,
it does grow hair.
Another problem
Yeah.
we have with, too, speaking of growing hair, I wonder if it would be good for the spots. We have this terrible problem in Florida this year. You probably know. You live in Florida. With the fire ants,
Oh,
one, and
yes.
also the summer sores.
That is what this is for. Sometimes some countries call it Swedish, some
Yep.
summer sores.
And they're horrible. Summer sores
they
are
are.
awful. They take forever to get rid of.
Definitely put that on. The only thing you can't use MTG on are gaping wounds.
Okay.
So once it starts
to heal a
yeah,
little?
once it starts to heal, it will grow back hair, but it also takes the itch factor away. So horses that rub their tails or rub their manes, put that on and they will quit rubbing.
And poor Beaker, he's been very good about not laying in the fire ant nest.
Yeah.
But the other day he did do that and ended up with fire ant bites all
Right.
over. And boy, there's fire. And anybody that hasn't been bitten by a fire ant yourself, it's awful. It itches for days.
Definitely use the MTG because it will take the sting, the itch away. Plus, it'll regrow the hair.
And do you put it on liberally, or
Yeah. Well, you don't
Or
want to
just-
overdo it
just dab it
because then
on?
it drips.
Okay.
So just use sparingly. Use enough to cover the affected area without it dripping or running.
All right, very
but
good.
you do have to shake the bottle to mix all the sediment in the bottom.
all the good stuff.
And then when you're using it, depending if you have a large area of the horse you're using it on, keep shaking it.
And how long will a bottle this size is? This is a 32-ounce bottle I have in my
Yes.
hand.
Uh-huh.
How long will that last, typically?
Depending on how many problems your horse
yeah.
has.
How many fire ants?
Yeah, fire ants, or if the horse gets, rain rot quite often, or scratches on their leg, anything.
Okay. All right, good. All right, what about the other products we have here?
Well, we also have Easy Out, and
No
Easy
rinse shampoo.
Yeah, exactly, and it is fabulous for in the wintertime to use instead of bathing your horse. You can spray it on a towel and wipe it on. It wipes away any kind of green spots, brown spots, manure stains, any kind of dirt.
So it's good for the grays and the...
It's wonderful for grays, and you can
Paints.
actually spray it in their tail, and it will. And then you just use a towel and gently pull the tail hair, and it'll pull the stains right off the hair.
Oh, wow.
But another way it's really good for is in the wintertime, if people ride in indoor arenas or they keep their dark, like bay horses or chestnuts in stalls, they get that fine dust in their
Yep.
coats, or if the horse rolls. And sometimes when you're brushing the horse, it only makes it worse. It kind of shows
you're
the
right.
dirt without getting rid of it.
Yep.
Spray that on a towel and then rub it against the hair. It cleans the horse all the way to the skin without making the horse wet and cold. It has optical brighteners in it, so when you use it on a dark coat, it makes the horse really, really shiny. It just brings out that shine and luster in a horse's coat, and that's something that only the Easy Out has. Another thing the Easy Out has that others don't is its odor eliminators. So, for one thing, it gets rid of the urine smell.
We need this on my dog.
That is the thing. That is like the magic word, stinky dogs.
Yeah.
You can do that in the winter instead of giving them a bath, or if the
She hates baths.
or she hates bath anyway.
Yeah.
Spray that; it gets rid of stinky dogs. And most horse people have dogs.
Next time we're taking a trip, we're spraying her with this first.
Definitely, and then
Yeah.
just either spray the dog directly, depending on how much hair it has, or spray a towel and then rub it against the hair, and it takes the stink away. Takes the
Very
stain
good.
and the stink away, is what we say.
Very good. All right, cool. And then the other product, too, that we saw that's becoming very popular now,
Yes.
because everybody wants their horses to look terrific,
Right.
is the Show Touch-Up. And this is the color. This is the spray paint for horses.
Exactly.
Yep.
That's the best way to call it. It's an aerosol can. We have it in 8 colors to match any color horse. Some people even mix them together depending on the horse's color. It's great for covering scars or blemishes. A lot of a lot of people use that. Quarter horses, they use it on hunter jumpers.
I imagine in-hand classes. And,
In-hand confirmation
yeah.
classes, pony finals when they have to model the ponies. The biggest sellers are either the black, if horses get sun-bleached tails, something like that in the summer, or if they need their legs darkened, if they're a dark bay or something, they'll use the black. But like I said, we have all colors to match all horses. But the white is fabulous if you put it on their white markings on their legs. For one thing, it will not wash away in the rain. It's water. You can't wash it off with soap and water. You need. It does not harm the hair, so it can just wear off. Or you can take a product like MTG or anything oil-based, and that pulls it right off the hair.
Now, is this the same stuff that guy was selling in the infomercials to make you not look bald anymore, where he'd spray the back of your bald spot on your head, and it was this spray paint that was supposed to make you not look bald anymore? It's the same thing, right?
You could
He was probably using your
use it.
stuff, making millions of dollars.
He probably put his own label on it.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I'm telling you.
I know.
That's what it was.
If you have a bald spot on your horse, that will cover it up. Yes.
Well, where can we find Shapley's products? What's the website?
It's shapleys.com. We just totally redid our website, so we have frequently asked questions, helpful hints for all of our products. Tax stores carry it.
Yeah, you'll find it almost every tax store.
You'll find it all over the world.
All right, very good. So the next time you see it at your tax store, pick a bottle up. It's Shapley's, SHAPLEYS.com. Thank you, Sally.
Thank you.
You can find more details about today's show, and you find the link if you want to go listen to some more of Jessica's poetry. You can find the link to her website and everything over at stablescoop.com. And as always, we love your feedback, so please follow us on Facebook under Stable Scoop or Twitter at Horse Radio. And don't forget to check out, what's the name of that blog again?
ChasingAFox.com.
ChasingAFox.com, and also Chasing a Fox on Facebook, right?
On Facebook, yeah, there's a lot of fun stuff on Facebook. So we've got some hunt photos and all kinds of cool stuff.
And Stable Scoop, don't forget to follow Stable Scoop on Facebook as well. Well, that's it for this week, everybody.
That's plenty, but there will be more next week. Until then, happy scooping.